Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for those who don't know, I'm Alicia and I've been interviewing inspirational people to find out exactly how they've become who they've become and the challenges they've faced along the way. This week I interviewed hairdresser and YouTuber Paul Watts. Here's how it went. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I mean, there's not much I can do, to be honest. I'm just trying to crack on with this sort of thing to be like to keep us relevant, to connect. I'm loving the YouTube and all that sort of thing. That's really cool.
You're doing really well on your YouTube at the moment, aren't you? I mean, you've...
Yeah, I mean, I got told yesterday, so I'm doing a live tomorrow with my mate, The Life of Hair,
Mhm.
and he is the UK's #1 hairdressing YouTuber, and
Okay.
he's only on 20.4 thousand. So the
Crazy.
hairdressing industry are really late into it, and
Mhm.
if I get to 5.5, I'll be the second biggest UK hairdressing YouTuber, which is mad.
That's brilliant though.
That's ridiculous. So we're coming up with a bit of a business plan for it, because why aren't hairdressers doing it?
So what
So
sort of business plan would you be looking at?
it's hard. Like, we've got a conversation tomorrow night about it. What we're going to do. Our first video is going to be me and him going back and forth with questions that we get asked often, and it's like, but how do I set up a YouTube channel? And it's like, oh, I can tell you to set up a YouTube channel. And then another question is, what camera should I buy? It's like, oh, James, do you want to answer that? And then we're going to do that on the first one,
Okay,
and then we're going to be doing lives every fortnightly
okay.
on a joint YouTube channel, and it will be, right, this week will be camera settings, or this week will be lighting or angles, and so
That
that's the
sounds
idea.
that sounds really good actually. I think because then you're almost branching out onto people who aren't hairdressers and do
Yeah,
just want to start up a YouTube channel. It's quite
yeah,
a
because
big
the
range.
time is now. Like, I said to him, I feel really late to the party, and two YouTubers were talking, and one said, "Why are you late to the party? Like, YouTube isn't even a teenager yet;
Mhm.
it's 12 years old. It's still a baby.
It really
Like,
is.
there's so much more to go." And when he said that, it like resonated, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like, we get so ahead of ourselves that we just want to be where, like Emily Cannon, like, she's been doing it for years.
Mhm.
And when I talk to her, and she's just like, "Paul, just do it, and like, just do this," and I'm like, yeah, but it's so hard to get like growth or to think of content, especially now. Like, I properly started it in January, and well, it's the worst time for content. I can't cut hair. I can't go out of the country, so I'm having to think of different things, which is why these lives have really took off, because we're connecting with people all over the world.
Yeah. Now you said, I'm sure it was on one of your social media about the time is now. What has that meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, what you're doing. So, like, you're reaching out to people, you're wanting to get content, collaborate.
Mhm.
Um, you can't leave the house really to contact people or to interview people. So the time is now of the digital age. Like, I was at a seminar in January for Creative Head magazine, and when I was sitting, I was thinking, God, this is so far behind. They were saying that the hairdressing industry, it was called The Time Is Now, and it was all about social media, connecting with your clients socially, online consultations, product reviews, and all that sort of thing. And I was sitting there, and I was with Lee Stafford, and we were talking, and we were like, that is so irrelevant at the minute, because that should have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But when you look at it now, the time is now. Like, it literally set us up to actually think about what we're going to do right now, because there's a video I've just watched this morning on YouTube, and he was saying about having more than one income stream. And this is what I'm trying to work on at the minute. So I've got my salons,
Mhm.
and then you've got, like, with YouTube, when you get to a certain level, you can start monetizing that, and then that'll be another income stream. There'll be education. So I work all over the world teaching education, which is another income stream. The digital age is very much now. We all need to be embracing it, but we all need to embrace it completely differently to what we've been doing. So I think we've been heavily driven by influencers,
Yeah.
um, and they haven't really got any power at the minute, because there's nothing like, oh, them trainers are cool in your living room. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that bikini looks great in your back garden. You're not really selling it to me, because I mean, not that I'd wear a
I was
bikini,
gonna say.
but the whole influencer thing, it is a thing, and it will come back. But I don't think it's going to be as strong as what it was, because I think more people are going to be influenced by other things and different factors. And I think a lot of businesses, like I said, like yourself, are going to be doing a lot more online and connecting more. I think they've influenced a lot building up to this,
Mhm.
but I think more people are embracing it. And I just think, with the time being as it is with lockdown, and we don't know what the normal is going to be, the new normal, what's the new normal? So we need to be looking at different revenue streams to make sure, if something like this does happen again, that, well, we're not out of a job, basically.
Yeah. Do you think the micro ones then will eventually build up to being, because it's that fine line, isn't it? It's when
Yeah,
you
I
get over
mean,
a certain amount, then does that then become an A influencer? Or and then what
yeah.
happens when they're down here?
I think you can start classing a real powerful influencer past 10K with the swipe up links, and then you can start getting your affiliate links. You can start pushing out products like in somebody's face, like, oh, just swipe up and then there it is, buy it instantly. Whereas the micro influencers under 10,000, they've got a lot more work to do and a lot more relatability, and there will be the ones that will fly through it and they will get to influencer level. But then there's obviously the ones that have got their niche, and they'll possibly stay around the 7, 8, 9,000, and they might influence a certain crowd. I'm not sure, to be honest. Like, I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited to see what happens. There was a new YouTuber I connected with yesterday, Charlotte Price. She's from Wellingborough, so she's near us.
Okay.
She was in the paper. Yeah, Charlotte Price. So she's all about pro body for women. So no matter what shape or size you are, just love who you are, basically. And the reason I wanted to catch up with her was because, going back to the sort of thing that I'm looking at with the hairdressing and YouTube, is exactly where I was at the beginning, and still am, to be honest. Getting in front of a camera is daunting. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
putting the camera in front of you and pressing that record button, before you press record, like, oh yeah, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this. Oh yeah, I might drop that link in there. Press record, and it's like, hello, sort of thing. And so I can see why our industry is struggling a bit, because we have to be, I don't know, like, we talk all day and we do our thing, we cut hair, and like I say to my team, like, we're on stage all day. We've probably got about 16 people around us all day who are maybe listening on conversations or seeing us in the mirror, but we're engaging with one person.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get a camera in front of someone who isn't as confident, it's like, oh my God.
Would you say you struggled with that in the beginning when you first started your channel? Did you?
Still do.
Do you?
Still do, yeah. 100%. Like, to be honest, the first video I did, I found it easier than I do now. And I'm trying too hard to perfect things. And this is what I've really struggled with in the past probably 2 months, is I've been trying to make my videos something like I see the big YouTubers doing. Like, their lighting's incredible, their backdrops are incredible. And when you try and be someone else, you're not going to be you, so it won't flow as naturally. And I'm not that I was trying to be someone else, I was just trying to create something that needs to happen organically.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still do struggle. Like, I'll get a camera in front of me and it's like, no, turn it off. Because it's, what I've learned is a lot of them plan it, and to be honest, they do it so naturally and so freely that I thought they were just like, wow, just get their phone out and start filming. But you delve deeper into what they're doing, and they've got a book of ideas, they've got a book of, like, a script on how they do it. And it's like, well, that's what we need to start doing if we want to. But I hate working from a script. That's the only thing.
When you get that camera out in front of you, what's the main thing what helps to be more natural. So I mean, I've watched your videos and they do come across very natural, just like you're chatting away.
Do they?
They actually, yeah, they do.
Oh, good. I mean, good. I still watch them back and I'm like, oh my God. I keep relating to people, but I do so much research on how people do it and make it look so natural. And there's a guy, Simon Wilson, and this is like a really cool story actually. So there's a guy, Simon Wilson. He was a estate agent,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to get out of it, so he just started vlogging. He like lives in London on £1 for a week, and the way that he got over that fear, and he still says he does have it sometimes. When you're walking through a crowd of people and you've got a camera with like a gorilla pod on, a big mic, people are going to look, and you've just got to get over that. But the way he speaks to his camera is by, as if it's a mate. He'll just be like, right, I'm not talking to like a bit of technology now. I'm talking to one of my mates. So I've just got to hold it there and engage with it and just talk as freely as I would a mate. But the story with him, he was an estate agent in London. Then he was in Milton Keynes. And then he started his own business in Kettering on Sheep Street. He had an estate agent like opposite my Kettering salon.
Okay.
That was in his second vlog that I come across. But so, yeah, I literally watch vloggers and YouTubers and just try and pick up as much as possible to get over that. And I'm glad they come across natural, because in the back of my mind, it's like trying to like get information to talk about.
About 5 minutes ago, you mentioned you were at an event with Lee Stafford.
Mm.
So you're partnered, is it with Lee Stafford and Joico?
So I'm one of Lee Stafford's head trainers for his company, Lee Stafford Education. So I go around the country training the trainers at his academies. So I don't teach the pupils, I teach the trainers who then train the pupils to be a hairdresser, basically. And Joico, so Joico is my salon brand that I work with, my colour styling products, but I'm also a European colour design member with them. So I travel around Europe doing shows, photo shoots, and like with this, so when I've been doing my lives on Instagram, that's for Joico, and there's some of the vlog videos I've been doing behind the scenes, that's for Joico. So yeah, for Joico, my position isn't changing. I'm still a colorist for Joico, but the digital world is taking over, and they want us to do a lot more, a lot more lives, a lot more online webinars. So I've done a couple of webinars for people to join, and they'll join, and we'll teach them a specific topic.
Would you say being partnered with them has helped grow your salon, grow your Instagram, grow your YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in my career, I've always wanted to be part of an artistic team or an educator. So I started off with L'Oreal right at the beginning as an educator. Mm-hmm. And then I moved to Unite, and I was on their young artistic team. And then I was a Redken artist for UK for 2 years. And now coming up to 2 years, I've been an artist with Joico, but now I'm not UK, I'm Europe. And 100% like profile, when you're teaching people from like Russia, Cyprus, Italy, Spain, Ireland, UK, like your social media grows because they want to know your handle. They want to see what you do in salon, and they want to see what you do in personal life as well. Which is why like I vlog a lot of it as well, because they love to see, I mean, what we have for breakfast. Like, did you stay at the hotel same as us? It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, what did you have for breakfast? It's like, oh, check out my vlog, and it's all on there. So yeah, work like partnering with big brands and collaborating is a massive part of growing digitally.
So in terms of like colour and getting it right, I've always wondered this. How does a hairdresser remember how much to mix with certain products to make a certain colour? And
so if it's specifically for a client, we've got notes that we make. We'll put notes down if it's a complicated colour. I like to consult every single time for my clients. So like now, the sun is incredible, the weather. Someone will be sitting out there all day. They'll probably get half a level's lift, like, or they'll probably get a bit at the ends that lift up slightly because the sun's bleaching depending on porosity. So I like to consult every client every time in case something's changed. They might like those lighter pieces. So let's incorporate them into the new look. But when it comes to thinking about what you mix together to create that, it's like any job. It's like a mechanic knows how to put that oil in that car, sort of thing. Maybe they know that, maybe they don't, but that's sort of like how it is. Like if somebody says, I want to mix that lightener to get that result, it's like, oh, okay, we need to mix that with that to get that result.
Okay, so it's
But
just kind of a learning thing.
yeah, it's a lot of experience, a lot of learning, a lot of self-learning. Like I still watch 1 to 2 videos a day on hair. That's like I've done that since day one, because I started hairdressing quite well late, as in respect to 16-year-olds. I started at 21, and it was something I've always felt catch up. I've got to catch up, and I said, right, I need to either hate reading, or watch something. So every day I'll watch something hair related on YouTube.
Okay, so in terms of like mixing the colours, watching on YouTube,
Yeah,
learning, in a way it's a bit like being an artist really, isn't it?
yeah,
So would you say that you have to have that creative side to be a hairdresser?
yeah, definitely. But you got to find it, because I was never creative. I was a footballer for
Okay.
years. I was at Aston Villa for I think about 6 years as a schoolboy, and at school, design tech terrible, art terrible, textiles terrible, food terrible, maths rubbish. So like English and science were like all right, and PE was my thing. I've always learned very practically, but I don't. To be honest, I don't know where the creativity has come from at all. I think I've learned that as well. Like one of the major things I always say about when I'm employing staff, I don't really look at their ability of cutting or colouring hair. I class our job as 25% what they can do, because I can teach the rest.
Okay.
75% is personality. So if somebody's got a really good personality, real like engaging, they get on with people, that's like most of the battle to getting clients. If you're endearing and humble and all that sort of thing, people are going to like you.
Yeah.
So for that 25%, yeah, you've got to work hard for the 25%, but that 25% we can work on. The other 75% is common sense and personality, and I can't really teach that.
That reminds me, someone once said to us, and we were in a hotel in Dubai, and they said, you know what? They fly all the way around the world looking for different people, any background, but for personality. They say, because they can teach someone to lay a table,
Yeah,
but you can't teach people
yeah,
skills. You can't teach someone to have a conversation with someone.
no,
That if it's not there, it's not there. And that
no,
sounds
no.
very similar, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like you go to Tesco and you go different tills, you'll get some that are super chatty, and you just like hit it off straight away. It's like,
Yeah.
and then others are just like, "Boop, boop," and that's it.
How'd it
So,
go?
so people like have got it. People have got that real lovable personality. They might be lovable rogues where they're a bit of a lad, and that's where I was very early on. That's why I didn't really know. I got into hairdressing late, because I couldn't relate to anybody. Not until Lee Stafford come on the scene with his TV show. I think it was early 2000s, when he was opening up his salons, and I was just like, oh my god, like I could be like him. I'm not. I wasn't. I didn't feel creative. I didn't like have really like. Although I had longer hair, I didn't like floppy hair. Or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't in touch, shall we say? I mean, I was super shy to begin with. I was always really shy as a little kid. I had to fake confidence at the very beginning, because people wouldn't book in with you, like any job. And I think that's also something that if you fake, like say the habit thing, if you do something 28 times, it becomes a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you sort of project this confidence enough, it becomes part of you. And I think that's what happened, because I get people now, like with the YouTube thing and that, and training, they're like, God, like, how did you get this confident? It's like, I faked it. I faked it until it just become a part of me. But there's still moments where I'll walk into, say, a big, I don't know, big event, and it's like, oh God, like the old me reverts a little bit, because it's like, I know nobody. But then it's like, right, if you want to network and you want to get further, you've got to like get out of it and then go and talk to people.
Yeah, definitely. Now, your dad is a hairdresser as well, isn't he?
No,
Is he not? I've always
no,
thought he was.
no, yeah, because he drives around in the advertising mobile.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I've
no,
never
my
heard
dad.
that.
So my dad, he he was like a network engineer and then a projects manager, and then he took redundancy years ago, and he started up his own network company, and that's what I jumped in. Like I was a network engineer. He taught me to be a network engineer, so I worked with him through his company, building up, and then I said I wanted to be a hairdresser, and he was like, "Why? Like, what are you trying to tell me?" Like, nothing. I think I'll be all right at it. And it was like last chance. I'd been uni, I'd done school, I'd done a year out, and then I was on this last chance sort of thing. Like, and my mum and dad were like, "Well, you can go, but if you drop out, you're gonna get a job." I was like, "Oh, okay, okay." So I just made it work. The college tutors, I still talk to them now, and now they say they did drag me through the course because I yeah, I'm not really into, or I wasn't into academic back then. Now, education is like my number one thing. But I think going through that whole resisting help and education really helped me now with my team to be able to tell them that, look, I had such a struggle to get to where I wanted to be because I didn't really engage with where I needed to be, that's helped me so much. But yeah, so my dad did that. I started the salon. He like did all the salon up and everything, and then I still did a little bit of network engineering with him when he needed a bit of help. And then he was like, "Look, the salons are blowing up. We need to just get rid of the network engineer company, and we need to go full time together in the salon." So that's what we did. But people do think like because his name's Paul as well.
I think because you've got the same name,
Mm.
everyone just puts two and two together and think, oh, it's been a family business for years.
Yeah, I
But
know.
in theory,
It's not.
it's fairly new, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going into it'll be our 10th year next year.
Which is nothing really compared to a lot
No,
of salons.
I know it's crazy, but yeah, it's great. I wouldn't like want anybody like as a business partner. We're all in it together, all my family. Like my sister's got her business, and we help her as much as we do with me. Yeah, mum and dad are super supportive, so that's what you want really. The people around you to build you up.
Would you say that's one of the main things? The people and the network you have around you is what helps. So would you say you're better off to surround yourself with people who are supportive?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you're young, you have such a big circle of friends.
Mm-hmm.
There might be different circles of friends, but you've got a big network. And then, like the older you get, the smaller it gets. But the reason it gets smaller is because you're sort of like getting rid of the ones that are super negative, the ones that don't really agree with your don't agree with your views, but have got a different mindset. They want to go and do that thing, like you want to do this thing, and then you have a certain core friends that stick with you, and they become your best friends. And then over the years, you'll then like pull in different friends to that group.
Yeah.
And what like basically your vibe attracts your tribe. Basically, that's like what we always talk about. We talked about this last night. Ian Davies, he says that all the time. Who I do my lives with, and it's like the vibe you give off to people. They either love it or they hate it, and if they hate it, they're going to move on anyway. Then they're not going to be wanting to be around that super positive energy all the time, because you see some friends like they'll just be negative about everything. Yeah, they'll like, oh, did you see what they were wearing? Oh, did you see their hair the other day? Oh, have you seen they're doing this job now? It's like give it a rest. Like they're doing really well, so they'll gradually and organically just like distance themselves from you. They'll still be an acquaintance as a friend. Like you'll see them and be like, oh hey, but you have your core friends that are 100% behind you. Your family, like keep your family's everything. So like keep your family on board with everything you're doing.
That's so true. So true. My final question is, you obviously took quite a plunge to just kind of start your own business, go off on your own. What would you say to anyone else who was looking to do that? Would you recommend it? What was one of your main learning curves from that?
Learning curve, just jump in. Like literally, if you've got a dream, just jump in. It happened a bit early for me. Like I wanted to go and maybe work for like a bigger brand, but the salon I was working at was closing, and I could either buy it or move on. And at that moment, I had been in that salon, worked up from like a graduate stylist up to salon manager. So I knew the ins and outs of it. I had a very good clientele in the area. I did have an interview at Leo Bancroft's salon in Surrey. That was just before I got told that they were thinking of selling the salon. So Leo said, come back next summer, because Jess was at uni and things just weren't right. It was a 2-hour drive. And Leo was like, yeah, Leo was a big inspiration to me early on, and still is now. Like when we see each other, we have a little catch up. But it just happened that the salon was going. I got asked, do you want to buy it? And I said, well, what if I don't? I said, well, it could be a coffee shop, it could be sandwiches, it could be anything. It might be a salon. It might be a salon. So I think I had like 48 hours to decide, and I decided to just go with it. Like my parents were like, do you think you'll make it work? And I said, well, yeah. Like, I didn't really know any business. Like I'd literally been hairdressing 4 years and built up a big client base. And I thought, well, if I just carry this on, my dad's run his business. So he was like, look, I'll help you with the business. So he does all the business side and still does to this day. I do haircutting, marketing, the social media, all that sort of thing. And I'm just starting to delve a bit more into the business side, because I feel like I need to now. But if somebody wants to open a salon, do it. But stick with your budgets. Make sure you've got a budget. I didn't have a business plan. I had a plan that I just wanted to do good hair, and I had a premises to do that. So that was my plan, just to carry on. But stick with your budgets. Think about what way you want to go, because there's the whole thing at the minute, which is like employing staff or renting chairs.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend employing, especially with what's going on now, like the whole coronavirus. A lot of people have been left out of pocket, self-employed hairdressers, because of what's happened. But to build a brand and to build a team around you is so much easier with employing a team and giving education. I think that's the main thing for me. With the whole self-employed thing, some still do it, some still educate themselves a lot, but I've just seen a lot where they'll just rent a chair, make as much money as they can and not invest too much in education. And it sort of reverts back to where hairdressing was a few years ago, where it all needed to up its game, and social media has made it up its game. So as long as you've got a plan and you stick with your budgets, go for it.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries. Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed that interview, and I hope you all learnt something as well. I know for me, what stood out the most is your vibe attracts your tribe. You know, if you're negative all the time, you're going to be surrounding yourself with negative people. Whereas if you're positive, you're going to give off that vibe, and people will want to hang around with you. Though positive people will want to be around you. Again, it's the same saying, as you mix with it, you become it. So if you want to become something, then surround yourself with the type of people you want to be like. You can follow Paul Watts at the links here. If you have someone that inspires you, comment below. I'm always so intrigued to find out exactly who inspires others. Likewise, if you have an inspirational story to tell, comment below, drop me a message on social media, or even drop me an email. This Sunday at 4 o'clock, I'll be speaking to the Jamaican bobsledge team about their journey to becoming the team they are and hopefully getting to the Olympics. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll speak to you all on Sunday. See you later.